called the Million Med, like in medical, March. A group of doctors upset at the way that healthcare reform debate's playing out. They're gathering in Capitol Hill yesterday. This effort began last June, and when a doctor posted one sentence on a physician's website, and it said this, quote, "I'm tired, mad as hell, and I'm just not going to take it anymore." That familiar quote from the movie Network. So what exactly is their message? Our guests this morning are doctors Scott Barber, an orthopedic surgeon, and Fred Schessel, a urologist. Doctors, welcome. Good to have you here. Let me start with you, Dr. Barber. What is it that you want to put the patient-doctor relationship at the forefront of healthcare reform? What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, Martha, Docs for Patient Care is an organization that's been designed to protect the doctor-patient relationship. And over the last several months, there's been a big push towards government-run healthcare. And the reality is all physicians have had experience with government-run healthcare in terms of the Veterans Administration and Medicare. And we know how those programs are not working. And our concern is that we're moving in a direction that's going to lead to more government control of our healthcare, and what we need is more private solutions.
All right, and what is it? Dr. Barber, let me stay with you. What is the private solution? What would you do?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would give all Americans the same tax credit their employers get to provide their own health insurance. I would try to uncouple the health insurance from their employers. We need to increase competition among insurance companies. We need things such as high-risk pools to help the chronically uninsured. And we need tort reform, just to name a few things.
Yeah, you know what? Those are all very solid ideas. You know, I assume you mean cross-state competition as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let me bring in Dr. Schessel. Dr. Schessel, do you agree with these three ideas? You know, in terms of better competition, making it portable, so that I own my own health insurance policy. Then you don't have to worry about, you know, where your job is. It's yours, just like your other forms of insurance, right?
Absolutely. You know, we all have the same goals in this issue. We want people to have affordable health care. We want it to be accessible to everybody. We want it to be high quality. But we know from experience that a government-run health care plan is not going to accomplish that. So there are some very common sense, market-driven solutions. You come from a business background, so I'm sure that you can appreciate those. Things that will actually work and not burden our children and our grandchildren with trillions of dollars in debt. So in that sense, we want to encourage every citizen in the United States to contact their elected representatives and weigh in on this subject. You know, we need to stop some of the emotional rhetoric.
Yeah, doctors, I hear what you're saying, but here's the headline. Nobody really is substantively discussing the ideas that you're talking about in terms of really getting traction in Washington on this right now. Nobody's talking about, you know, why don't we all own our own health insurance policy? I haven't heard that. Have you, Dr. Barber?
Well, we're the tip of the iceberg here. We're just getting physicians mobilized, and our sentiments represent the sentiments of 70% of physicians out there. We haven't heard as much publicly as we wanted.
But Dr. Barber, let me jump in when you say that, because where have the doctors been, is my question. Are you worried that you might be too late to this game? You know, they just finished the bill in the Senate Finance Committee, and it's going to be moving its way through committee. Are you worried that you're too late coming to the front?
Well, I am worried that we are too late, but I'm not going to allow my children to have to go and receive their health care in a government-run health care system. Look, the patients out there don't want this thing. In the last month, I have had several patients come in and ask me to perform their joint replacements, even though they're clinically not ready for it, because they are so afraid that with government-run health care, they are going to lose the opportunity to get these operations. And I think that speaks volumes as to how the country feels about this. Government-run health care, no matter how you look at it, has been ineffective. If you look at Medicare, it's $36 trillion in the red. The government is saying that they're going to shave $500 billion off to pay for this entitlement program and not cut your benefits. And those numbers just don't add up. And we feel that if we can get that message out there, that essentially the common sense of it will come through and we'll be able to block this legislation. And that's why it's so important for all of the citizens out there in the next week to call their senators and let them know how they feel about this. The Baucus bill is getting ready to come out for a vote next week, and the citizens of this country really need to let their representatives know exactly how they feel.
Yeah, you know, tort reform, Dr. Schessel, is another thing that is on a lot of people's lips, but you don't see it in any of these bills, really, in any meaningful way. Just a quick last thought from you, sir, on how much response you're getting. Is there a congressman, is anybody saying, I'm going to write legislation that reflects what you folks are talking about?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, they've written such legislation. There's a Republican bill called H.R. 3400 that encompasses many of the things that we believe in. But you're right, it's getting no traction in Congress. You know, we were in Washington yesterday, and we had a chance to attend the rally and do some lobbying. And unfortunately, what we saw is not going to be good for your health. We saw ideologues that were crafting policy that wasn't based on things that would actually work. We saw party politics in full throat where they won't consider things, common sense, market-driven things that will actually fix some of the problems that we have. So
right.
You're right, there's a problem to be overcome, but there are bills out there, there are ideas out there. If we can just step back, start over again, and consider all the things that might actually work.
Well, I would urge everyone in Congress to speak to their doctors. Every time you go see somebody, whether it's your dentist or your general practitioner, say what works, because I think that you guys are on the front lines and you have a lot to contribute to this conversation. So thank you very much for speaking with us today.